welcome back to another episode of
What Up Eugene?
That button's just like a little too far away to press it as I lean away from the mic to press it. Of course, I am your host, Lars. I am joined as always by my co-host even, actually, Dan. And you know what, Dan? I normally say what up to you, and I realize I haven't been thinking about how you feel. You know, so how are you doing today, Dan? Not what are you doing.
Everyone asks what I'm doing and not how I'm doing.
Yeah, are you okay? I hear recently you saw The Disaster Artist.
I did.
We'll talk about that later.
Oh, okay. All right.
We got a little bit of housekeeping, so go ahead and hit that snooze button. This is the finale for season 1 of What Up Eugene. This is our last episode. We got an excellent guest. We're very excited for that.
Woo!
So that means we got season 2 coming up, and there's going to be a couple changes. First of all, we have used much music that is copywritten in this show, mostly in our guest intros and also in the Wheel of Fortune music we use for the game show round. We use the Wheel of Fortune music. Everyone knows it. It's not a secret.
It's not Wheel of Fortune also. It's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Oh, yeah. No, I know that. I didn't know that. Not everyone knows it. 7 billion minus 1 people
Who Wants to Be Sued by NBC.
Yeah, well. So we're going to take the week break that we have, which is basically Christmas week. We're going to write all original music and themes going forward with season 2. And that means we will be on Google Play and iTunes. We can do that now with the RSS feed, but we don't, like Google Play, they have those content robots. They will shut us down immediately. So even though Stitcher and SoundCloud also don't like copywritten music, they don't give a shit. So that means season 2 is going to be in iTunes and Google Play, but season 1 will be off of the RSS feed starting in 2 weeks. So go ahead and grab a listen now. And it will always be on SoundCloud, so you can check out. There's a playlist for season 1, and there will be there's actually a playlist for season 0, which is just the 6 episodes of Dan's Bag and the 2 pilots we did for this and one other podcast we did. So if you like What Up Eugene but you hate the guests, that would be the show for you. It's just Dan and Lars talking. Our guest is offended. Hey, Dan.
That's the real snooze button.
Do you want to talk about our guest, or should I just hit the button?
I think you should just hit the button.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Why does it cut off?
I don't know. I think that's your file.
Okay. Anyway, our guest is Mark.
Hi. I thought it was, oh, hi, Mar.
He goes, oh, hi, Mark, just like the normal version. Mark Davis is our guest. Eugene Tech Scene aficionado.
This is true. Thanks for having me on the show.
Of course, we're glad to have you. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, and then it'll look like we did research, but instead you did research.
Well, I'm just going to turn that right back around on you. I'm going to say, who do you think I am?
Who do I think you are? Well, I've known you for about 2 weeks now. I met you at the Starlight. We were doing that Game Jam presentation. So here's what I know about you. I know that you work with a company that puts together training programs for certificates. Yes. And then you go around
on your shirt there. You're brandishing some sort of
CBT nuggets.
Yeah, I've got a logo. So I'm like in full regalia.
Yeah.
Today. Today's one of the days where I hang out downtown, repping the company, and so I'm like fully logoed up. I just ordered some logo socks today, but I'm not wearing them yet. But yeah, I've got the hoodie. Mm-hmm. I was wearing the hat, and I went back to a regular hat, but I've got the shirt on. I've got so much logo gear from these guys, and luckily it doesn't suck.
Now, I get the impression that you are a huge member of the Eugene tech scene, but you also spend a fair amount of time outside of the city of Eugene. Is that true? Do you live in Portland or somewhere?
That's very true. I'm a bifurcated kind of guy, and so I spend the middle of my week I spend in Eugene, and I have a house out I have a shack in the woods out near Veneta, and I live out there. And then on the weekends, I go back to Sherwood, which is a suburb of Southwest Portland, and it's like a hoity-toity kind of burby kind of thing. But that's where the wife and the kids and the family and like all that stuff is going on.
Sure.
And so I like it up there, and I like it down here. I've just been doing this for like a decade.
Wow.
And so I commute twice, once on Tuesday morning and once on Thursday afternoon, and that's it.
I like it. Well, and I've seen some pictures of a project you're working on in the backyard that is it seems like unclear to the audience what the project's going to turn into yet.
Oh, yeah, that's at CBT Nuggets, though.
That's at work. Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's at work. That's like the holodeck.
Ah. See, that's what he keeps saying. I wonder, though, is it...
It could be the holodeck. It could be the alien landing pad. It could be the golf simulator.
Sort of
it
looks
could
like
be
an
the
above-ground
Fallout
pool.
shelter. It's really unclear what that is.
It's
at,
very
at
exciting.
The moment.
You know,
Oh, I
the
thought you
whole-
knew what it was, and you're just teasing us.
No, I don't know what it is. It's above my pay grade.
I love it.
I have no idea.
And one last thing I know about you, and that's like 3 things I know, which is pretty good. You are a co-host and I would say founder of Eugene Tech Tuesday, the live show that they shoot upstairs at the Barn Light.
That's true. That's Josh. Joshua Evans is the host of that show, and I'm like his plucky comic relief. But yeah, I started it because Facebook started doing this Facebook Live thing, and as soon as that button showed up on my iPad, I was like, Josh, we need to do this. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's just a button. There's no post-production. We're just going to go live right here on the iPad.
Yeah.
And we're just like going to talk about stuff. And then he was like, okay, let's go. And that was like, I don't know, 2 years ago. So.
And, we actually, Dan and myself we live Instagrammed from your live show last night. And I heard they're looking for a co-host for next week. So it looks like I'm going to be in the studio talking tech in Eugene. Got myself a Firefox story all lined up.
Nice.
I know it's about local tech, but I don't know local tech. I know Firefox.
Firefox is local tech because we're a Mozilla gigabit city.
Oh, should I not be attacking them live on air?
You can say whatever you want. It's the internet. You can curse if you want to.
Oh,
I've never tried that.
have you? Try it. Freckles.
Freckles. That's the only one I know.
Well, we've
So you
been-
keep this show pretty fucking clean, is what you're saying.
Yeah. We cuss a lot on this show.
Yeah, damn it.
So let's move right into the segment that everybody likes, and the only reason we're here, and one we're gonna have to write a new intro for because it's very copywritten, and that would be this one.
The peer-reviewed beer review.
All right, so we've got ourselves. Actually, this is the wrong beer. We've got ourselves.
You better pick your beer.
Yeah.
You can pick your nose and you can pick your beer, but you can't pick your beer
Well,
nose.
Dan always I always try to stress to the audience that Dan is a raging alcoholic, so he likes to have a couple drinks before the show starts.
I'm
So
crazy.
I have to pick up 2 6-packs. One for the review and one for Dan.
What does that make you, wine sugar?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I chug wine. You're
Sounds
right.
like a French slur. What do we got here, Mark?
I'm reading the label. It's a Nectar IPA.
This was recommended by the beer and wine guy at my work. He actually recommended the Deschutes, the what's it called? The like upside
Humboldt
down
Brewing
one.
Company is not from Oregon. I can tell you that right now. Humboldt
Yes.
is from California. We're drinking some California beer.
Oh,
We do. We
a
try.
fine California beer.
We try to drink as many Pacific Northwest beers as possible, but we also try to drink a different beer every week. So it's kind of this sort of you just kind of at a certain point I just grab stuff.
Yeah. I gave Vermont. I gave them a pass
Yeah.
because Vermont is the East Coast Oregon. I'll say it on air.
Well, can we call California South Oregon?
Sure. I don't
Okay,
care.
Yeah.
said it.
They love that.
Yeah, so it's an IPA. What are we doing? We're doing 6.7% alcohol by volume. And let's have a sip. Ooh, that's interesting. It's very flavorful, very sweet. So here's how we do it on this show. Dan and I both have
Can
a
I
rating
burp
system.
now?
Go for it. Yeah, burp. Nice.
Your voice is so bassy. I was kind of expecting something else there.
Like a deeper burp.
Oh, is that just like a little child burp?
That was a little hummingbird burp.
Maybe
Oh,
I'll
there's a hummingbird on the
That's
cover.
what I
So maybe
thought
I
of
was
it.
channeling.
maybe I'll take it down an octave in post. Just subtract an octave on that burp.
I'm not good at burping. The kids, I'm old, so I have children, and they really know how to like shake the walls with their burps, and I'm always like mildly offended by it, and so I have a hard time burping.
For a long time, I did that kind of like closed mouth burp where you say kind of like excuse me and swallow it, but I open mouth burp now. I'll say it.
Burp through your nose.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes.
So Dan rates every drink that we do from a scale between 0 and 5 Lars, and that's a picture of my face. It's a horrifying graphic, but he makes it every week. I rate between 0 and 300 stars. I do that because it's a real pain in the ass for Dan. And then we have every guest come on, and this is the fun part. They get to make up their own rating scale. We prefer like a blank out of blank just because it's easier to visualize.
Yeah,
And then they get to pick a rating for their drink, and then Dan does the graphic, and it's on peerreviewedbeerreview.tumblr.com. They're all there right now, except for like 4 episodes that aren't there, but most of them are there.
It's at .edu actually.
.edu. Nice.
Wait, does that mean we get a free year of Amazon Prime?
Oh snap! I forgot about that.
Nice.
I missed that student discount.
So I need to come up with my rating scale?
Yeah, you could have some time if you want. We can talk about this. You could just tell us how you feel about the drink, kind of walk through
Oh,
your
no,
thoughts.
I'm a 21st century digital boy, so I'm just going to go with the 1 or 0 rating scale.
I like it. It's either a pass or a no pass. Simple.
It's going to be binary.
Well, this is an interesting one.
Are we drinking the entire beer? Is this
I
how
I mean,
this
you
goes?
can.
There's like 9 more beers in the fridge if you need, so you can go.
Oh
to
no,
town.
this is the first time I've done this, and I just
Yeah. You could get as drunk as you want on our show. There's no holds barred. It's really more about your own public image at that.
Well, that's good because I also brought some scotch.
Yes, it is. I would say this is a show where we recommend double fisting drinks,
Oh yeah,
and we do
have
all
more
have
than
2 drinks. Dan and I are both also drinking Deschutes Mirror Pond Pale Ale, which I'm sure we've had on the show before.
one. And I tried your Scotch malt. What is it called?
Well,
Maverton.
it's whiskey from Scotland,
Scotland.
and so in America we would call it scotch,
Oh, I had no idea.
but it never says scotch on the label. It just says whiskey and where it's from. And this one's a Highland Park, and it was just a cheap one, and so it has a dumb name. It's called Magnus.
Magnus.
If this
I
is
like it.
cheap, then I am buying way, way, way lower than I need to.
Yeah.
Because my whiskeys tend to.
Dan-
It's less about the taste and
Dan's
more
buying
about.
$8 bottles of whiskey a lot.
Please, $9.95.
Oh, excuse me, $9.95. He's not quite spending $10.
Yeah. Anyway, this is good. It tastes like an old boot, which is how I like my, as we call it in America, Scotch.
It's very peaty.
It's a peer-reviewed whiskey review.
Yeah.
Dan, how do you feel about whichever drink we're reviewing here, the Nectar IPA?
Well, as you know, I don't really care for IPAs. So
I do know that.
based on that, I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5 Lars.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
2.5, which isn't bad for an IPA, and this is standard.
That's such a safety call. You're like, I'm just gonna go right down.
He
the
always
middle.
does that.
No, I
It's
always do
always
3,
that.
3 or 3.5.
It's
But...
so lame.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 2 then.
Thank
2
you.
out of 5 Lars.
You could trash stuff, dude. The reason I picked 300 stars is because I gave a drink 0 and I wanted it to be a big number. I wanted them to really know they fucked up. That was a bad IPA.
But can I really hate it just because I don't like this style of beer?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, then
Those
I give
are
it
the
a
rules.
1.5 out of 5.
There you go.
I'm changing it.
Nice.
I always tell people it's between 0 and 5, and you never give anything 0.
As ratings approach 0,
Oh.
Ah, there it is. I don't love this. Well, let me have another sip.
I couldn't tell you what this
I
is.
like IPAs, but again, I don't know. This kind of it only does one thing in my tongue. It's not really as bitter as I want on the first sip, and then it's just kind of just mellows out. It's kind
well,
of
I think there's honey in it or something. Like it's
That one
like
makes
the
sense.
Nectar
It is-
IPA,
yeah, it is
and
really
it's a golden label,
kind of sweet.
and it's a whatever. So it's like a kindler, gentler IPA.
Yeah,
And
I-
for that, from Yucca, UKIAH, California.
I would not expect an H in that word.
I said humble. I don't know. I guess they're liars too.
They're liars.
Down another half a Lars.
Yeah. So, what does that put you at half a Lars out of
Puts it
5?
at half a Lars. Because why not? It's the end of the year. I've never given something that low of a rating.
That's true. Yeah. I'm gonna give this. Ooh, this is a tricky one. It kind of grows on me. I'm gonna give it 125 out of 300 stars. I don't love it, but it's not terrible, and that's a pretty high score for me because I don't give many things over 200.
You gave the last episode 125.
I thought I gave it 150.
No.
Well, I'm giving this 115 then. God, these guys are so unlucky. Their ratings just keep going down.
I'm just still gonna make it a 125 to save myself time.
These poor fuckers. They're in the right. So it's supposed to be Humboldt County, and I've never heard of this thing. It's
This
a
Yucca.
6.7% alcohol.
Which, you know what, that's where it makes up the last 10 stars, so it will be 125 for me.
And so what? I mean, like, what's Ninkasi? Ninkasi's like what, 8% in an IPA?
It's usually about 6.7 to 6.9. Maybe in the 22s it's higher, but it's usually under 7 for Ninkasi.
Yeah, and Ninkasi just like killed IPAs for me. Like I just like everything
bitter?
they have is so freaking hoppy.
Yeah.
So I will give this one they're not killing me with the hops.
Mm-hmm.
Thumbs up. But yeah, no, just based on my binary scale, I'm just gonna have to give them a 0.
That's a no pass. Wow, that is the worst score we've ever had for beer on the show. And it makes me feel like I gave it too high of a score.
Well,
I was trying to be
don't judge
neutral.
yourself based on my opinions.
Yeah, okay, so let me ask you. The beer you guys had on tap last night at the tech
Let me backtrack. We went to Code Shops last night.
Code Shops, that's what it's called.
Code Shops, which is kind of a, what would you describe Code Shops as to people who don't know about Code Shops? Or just
Code
those
Shops
things?
is Eugene's original co-working space. And so it's above the barn light downtown. And a co-working space, if you're not familiar, is a place where you're too cheap to buy your own office.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really want to work out of the house. You want to be downtown.
Sure.
Maybe you're a remote worker. Maybe you're a freelancer. Maybe you're starting a small company. And you want to be downtown and do all the things. And you want to be on the fiber. And you want to be like talking to other people who are doing cool stuff. And you want to be above the barn light. And so you go work at Code Shops.
That sounds like a pretty good place to hang out. What was the do you know the beer that was on tap? It was some kind of IPA, and I actually really liked it.
Oh god!
Or it said, that's what it said on the whiteboard, but it didn't really taste like an IPA, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, it was like rescue something, emergency. I wish I knew the name of it.
I'm checking to
That's
see
okay.
if I have a picture of it as we speak.
Well, Dan, I think it is actually. We spent a little bit of time here. It's time to get into Okay Noodle before we go to segment number 2, which is after the break.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's see if I'm gonna hope that I've got the right button here.
Okay, Noodle. Find me a restaurant in Eugene, Oregon.
Okay. I am finding you restaurants in Eugene, Oregon.
Thanks.
This is an original theme show that Dan came up with. It's all his own idea, and I will let you tell him about it while I cue the music.
Okay Noodle is a game that we're going to play now, Mark. Have you ever gone on Google and typed in Eugene restaurants and try to find Eugene restaurants on a map you want to try out?
Sure.
Well, if you did, Mark, you would
If
notice
you've never done that,
you would notice that on the side it pulls up brief descriptions of each restaurant in Eugene. And what in this game we've chosen specifically Eugene or Eugene chain restaurants. That means no Taco Bell, no McDonald's,
Something
no
with
Chipotle,
local flavor.
Something with local flavor. And the idea is I'm gonna read you the brief descriptions that Google has come up with for these restaurants, or people have submitted for these restaurants, and see if you can guess which restaurant they're talking about.
Goodness, do I have a list of names to pick from?
Nope.
Oh god.
it's pretty easy. It gets harder. The rules are there are 5 total questions. If you get 2 out of 5 right, you get a prize from the prize bag.
Awesome.
They're not great prizes. Let me stop you right there. They're not good prizes. Every additional
My
answer.
motivation just went to 0.
Every additional answer.
You gotta talk up the prizes, man.
We'll get better prizes for season 2. That's
Oh
a
yeah.
change.
Well, once we get some donations
Yeah.
from local businesses.
Yeah, we'll get that Kickstarter going. Every additional answer correct is another prize. So if you get 3 correct, you get 2. If you get 4 correct, you get 3. If you get 5 correct, you get 4 prizes. That's how math works. You also get a lifeline, which is I'll answer for you. That's if I know it and you don't. However, I'm not great at this game. I did good last time. Sometimes I'm good. I don't know a lot of these are some real obscure restaurants. I'll just tell you that.
Well, we'll see. I'm just gonna like throw some names out there.
Yeah.
Because I go to 2 places in town, and so
Sizzle Pie and Barnlight?
well, pretty much.
Okay, I got it.
I'm such a one-trick pony, but you know what?
I get the picture.
Sometimes
Well, you got them in Portland too. It feels
Sometimes
like
we
home.
come down to Eugene on the weekend
Ooh.
as like vacationing, and we go find cool places because Eugene's actually got really great food.
There's some good food, for sure.
It's very hippie style vegan stuff, but it's way better than Sherwood. I can tell you that right now.
I sure would like to eat more food at Eugene. That's what I'm going to say.
I hate you, Dan.
And let me just secondly say, for anyone who doesn't know why it's called Okay Noodle, it's because OK Google and then noodles of food. That's how I came up with it.
I think you just activated my phone, you jerk.
I'm almost positive everyone knew that because you did the Okay Noodle, the theme. It really implies it.
Well, I actually activated my own too. That's amazing.
So are you going to make an Alexa skill for OK Noodle?
We should get an Alexa just in the studio hanging out, and we'll just talk to her during the podcast. We'll
If
get
we
her
have-
own mic.
If we ever need a guest. But right now, we're going to begin OK Noodle.
I'm ready.
The fun part about this game is that the dramatic music goes for a long time. Because we'll get sidetracked talking about stuff, and then, like, last time we talked about taco time for, like, 15 minutes with the music playing.
Yeah,
That's
this theme music makes me think like I'm playing like a 4X space thing, and I'm just like mining asteroids or something.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like that.
Well, let's get into it. Restaurant number 1, Mark Davis, is described as a cozy American restaurant and wine bar in a converted house serving crepes and pub grub, plus breakfast.
Oh.
I would say that's that restaurant that's down
Yeah, I know.
on the other side of the...
right across from the Wow Hall, right? But I don't know the name.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, no. It's the...
They have a sign that says crepes. That's the part I always see.
I'm gonna call it the Mystical.
Mystical?
We're going to go with the Mystical.
Do you want to do the... Okay.
Incorrect, Mark. It is the Vintage.
You're so right.
I was thinking... Because I thought we've had the Vintage on the show before. Maybe someone has
Nope.
guessed that.
No, we haven't.
Someone guessed it before.
I'm gonna go ahead and plug the Vintage right now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there before. It's awesome, especially spring, summertime. They got like outdoor seating kind of thing, and they do like a burger and a beer deal.
Yeah.
And they give you it's like massive portions
Ooh.
For on the cheap. And so I forget what day they run that, but it's totally worth checking out. And it's like they're so close to downtown, but they're just kind of not on a main street. They're kind of on a whatever.
8th and Lincoln.
The Vintage is great. They have, like you said, their burger and brew. They also have an awesome mimosa and something else combo. And just in general, that place, if you're taking a first date, take them to the Vintage.
It's totally a date
It's
place.
the best first date place. Or
Yeah,
just
and the
dates in
bar,
general.
the bar is beautiful.
Yeah, they got the Christmas lights going.
Well, that's an excellent recommendation. I've never actually been inside. I've only seen the sign.
And it's reasonable,
Check
too.
it out.
Put it on your list for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just Okay Noodle, put it on my list.
Don't do that. On my phone.
There's
It's
a-
sensitive, apparently.
There's
Although,
a clipboard right there, by the way.
oh, yeah, okay. Sounds good. That's so we can hide. When it's wrong or right, I give the thumbs up or thumbs down, so you're surprised by the sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm totally surprised.
Restaurant
Well,
number
the first
two.
he didn't hide the first one. Yeah, the
Rest-
obvious thumb down.
Restaurant number 2, Mark, is described as a compact restaurant serving Mediterranean dishes with Northwest twist on a heated garden patio.
Heated garden patio.
I read that weird. If you want to reread, let me know.
No, I got it. Heated garden patio. It's like a pocket restaurant doing Mediterranean stuff.
Mediterranean specifically. God, the only place I could think of with a patio is that McMiniman's on the river.
Heated garden patio.
Heated garden patio.
I didn't even know we had such things. It seems so
Yeah.
foofy for Eugene. Eugene's a little bit more
Well, I've been to
It's
this
a little
place,
rugged.
and it is expensive, but it is delicious.
Mediterranean, huh?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Pita Pit.
Now, remember, just
He
a
does
second,
not want these prizes.
just a second
I
ago,
can't
I
blame
said
him.
it was very expensive,
And not a chain. We're
but
both
very
said.
good. And I don't know if Pita Pit necessarily fits either of those. It's pretty good, but it's definitely cheaper.
Although, you know what? While we're talking about Pita Pit, and I'd like to talk about Pita Pit for a minute.
Oh, no.
They appear to be under new ownership. They don't have cranberries on the menu anymore, which is upsetting for like the 3 people who like to put those on their pita. And also, they don't call the local the TJ anymore. They just call it the local. It's the same one. It's gyro chicken and bacon, but I feel like TJ got fired or quit. I'm very upset.
Oh, is TJ like a person?
I assume he was the owner. He's that kind of like guy you always see around, not really serving pitas. I assume.
Hey, Lars, can we take just a couple steps back further and
yeah.
ask, you put cranberries in your pita?
Oh yeah, if you get them on the grill, they like it's like fruit gushers. They pop in your mouth. It's
You
great.
son of a bitch.
A guy who worked there recommended it, and it was great.
Okay, Mark.
Cranberries are like the weirdest thing in the world. Like they grow them in like cranberry patches that are full of water.
Yeah, it's,
And they like float at the top, and they like collect them by like skimming them off like scum.
well, and to be clear, these are not these are craisins, so they're like dried out and
These
filled
are
with
like
sugar
these
too.
are like the things you buy at Costco for like
Yeah.
$20 for 2 years worth of.
yeah,
I
for
can
sure.
understand a craisin.
Did you know? Was it? Shoot, where are they?
No.
Cape Blanco. Those cranberries. If you go to the grocery store, they're like $1 more for the 12 ounces versus the Ocean Spray. Ocean Spray buys a lot of cranberries from Cape Blanco though, so you're probably getting the same ones. You're just paying $1 more.
Yeah.
So fun
And
little
as well
produce
you
fun fact.
should.
Yeah.
So, Mark, restaurant 2, I'm going to read it again just to help you out. Compact restaurant serving Mediterranean dishes with a Northwest twist on a heated garden patio.
You should give like a location.
I'm gonna
like,
go for
an area.
Mozzie's.
He's going to go Mozzie's.
I don't actually. I have no clue. Like the only,
Incorrect.
every time you say Mediterranean, I just think of that Mediterranean Network restaurant.
No, this one is referring to Cafe Soraya.
And where the hell's that?
Yeah,
That
seriously,
one's,
what
do you
is
know where
that?
Berg Ski Shop is?
Yeah.
It's right across from it, like on the street.
Oh,
directly
really?
across.
Like on 12th or like 11th or something?
Yep,
like
it's right
that?
next. There's that convenience store, and
I've
there's
seen the
Cafe
I
convenience
think
Store.
I think people have mentioned this to me.
It's
I've never
it's
seen
really
that.
good. But you're gonna be spending
Heated
minimum
porridge, yeah.
of like $15 per dish.
This is boy. This is a hard.
We're
round,
doing
man.
date night restaurants. Okay, this is the date night restaurant theme.
Well, luckily this next one isn't, and that's the only clue I'm going to give you. Aside from the description, restaurant number 3 is described as a straightforward, all-you-can-eat outpost featuring Chinese noodle stir-fries made on a large grill.
Is this a local restaurant?
As far as I know, it's local.
No, you're totally describing
Yeah.
Chang's Mongolian Grill.
I was gonna say, yeah, this
right?
is Mongolian Grill on River Road, right?
Totally.
Wait, what'd you call it?
Chang's Mongolian Grill.
I just called it Mongolian Grill because I never heard the word Chang added.
I don't know if it's actually...
I'm gonna go ahead and give him.
Yeah,
the...
give him that. Okay,
Yeah, I gave him that.
It's Jung's Mongolian Grill.
Oh, Jung's.
Oh wow, okay.
But I
Weird.
think you meant Jung's.
You know what might have happened
Yeah.
is that it was a Chang's.
Like a
That's
P.F.
like saying
Chang's?
like it was a Denny's.
Yeah,
And then Jung bought it.
I
And now it's Jung's Mongolian
I
Grill.
don't think Mongolian Grill is local. I'm pretty sure that's a very large chain. I could be
Really?
wrong. I
But
could
it's
be
got
wrong.
but it's Jung's.
You're right. My bad.
You know,
I
what?
want to I want to go.
But P.F. Chang's is a chain, isn't it?
Yeah,
Is there only one?
totally.
So Jung isn't. I'm
Jung?
confused.
No.
No, I didn't know this.
Did you guys know there's an entire blog out there dedicated to finding pictures of restaurants that were formerly Pizza Hut restaurants?
Awesome.
I did not. I did see a picture of just down the street at 29th on Reddit because it's shoot, what's it say? Oh, it's like that law firm and it's called something like Boner or something.
Nice.
Or something close to that.
Bonin?
Yeah, Bonin. But then it's like the children's clothes store, so it says like boning children.
Yeah. And also,
Nice.
it's right between a dispensary and a old shady bar.
Yeah.
So a bus stop is right in front of a children's boutique clothing store, sandwiched
Boners.
between a bar and a medical dispensary, or not a medical, recreational dispensary. And nothing against bars or dispensaries, but it's like you're sandwiched between like some really shady characters
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's a little.
It's a weird place to. Well, I have to assume that the children's clothes store was there first, and they're like, because it's just
It
a
wasn't.
giant sign that says Bonin.
No, it wasn't.
Really? They
No.
put their sign up. They put their children's sign up. Fucking.
All right. Well, you know what? You've got one. We're going to give that to you.
That's yeah. Well, we did
Because
give it to him.
you.
It was close. I had 2 out of 3 words.
He
And
knew-
also,
he knew
Jung's
the
may be a
location.
chain.
That's actually part of the trick of this
And
game.
what's
is
the address on Jung's?
It's on River Roadish.
Okay.
That's the one I know of. But that's part of the trick for this game is like knowing the name because we both knew the restaurant, but we just didn't know it was the vintage.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be half a point.
Well, and this games like this, I just suck at. Like
a hard
the name your coworker game. I'm like,
You're
oh
like-
jeez,
you're like,
I don't
who
know.
that
Like
fucker is.
I know like at BR will get me your name in
Yeah.
Slack. You know, and it's like if we're having lunch or whatever, we're hanging out and we know each other. But it's like I don't know. It's just like there's a thing where it's like the names don't come out quickly.
I love the idea if you're like, I don't know who any of them are. I know the shortcut to the autofill. I can autofill
I
the
can
name.
find you.
Yeah.
I can find you pretty quick.
But can you find restaurant number 4?
Well, I don't know. What is it, man?
Nice.
It's described
segue.
as an airy place with a second-story balcony, offering basic Italian bites and a lengthy wine list.
Oh, shoot.
A second story restaurant?
Yeah, because
That's cutting it way down.
there's
real
a
quick.
Elkhorn, but that's obviously not Italian. Is that the one? There used to be whatever. Used to be like, oh,
There used to be a Carl's Jr.
I was
headquarters.
gonna say yeah, and it was the two stories.
That was amazing.
What's that place that's like over by Prince Puckler's and the
That's,
all that? What's that famous?
That's
That's
Beppe
Mom,
and Gianni's.
Yeah, Beppe and Gianni's. I think
Yeah,
that was an
that's
answer.
it.
I think that was an answer previously. Was it not?
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
Don't say Pepe and Johnny. Someone help you. Don't say that one.
okay. No, it was an answer previously. I swear it was.
It was not.
I've never
In
been
a previous episode, but not here.
I've never
Yeah,
been
well, 'cause
to a
you went
double
there.
decker restaurant with a mezzanine overlooking
never-
noodles in.
I've never been to
Eugene.
Mozzie's, so it could be that one. What's
I
the-
already said Moz.
I'm gonna give
Yeah.
you one more hint.
Okay.
It's downtown.
What?
Hey, hold on. I thought that restaurant went out of business. Was it the Noodle Bowl or the Lucky Noodle? One's Korean, the other's
I
Italian.
know which one you're thinking of.
But they went out of business, right? The Italian one? Was it the Lucky Noodle?
I'm not gonna say
The
anything.
Noodle
I'm not gonna help you.
I think it's-
Oh,
could
it's
be the
like
Noodle Bowl.
Kaleidosphere or something. It's like the.
Nope, that's made up.
It's
Okay,
It's
now hold
something
on.
like that. It's
There-
like right across.
There is an Italian restaurant at the 5th Street Public Market, which is technically a second story, but
This
that
isn't
wouldn't
it.
be...
This is the one that's on like Broadway and Pearl or something. It's like
I
Yeah,
don't know that one.
yeah, it is.
all like Broadway and
That should be-
Olive.
can you give him a half
and
point
it's,
for that?
I don't know.
It's like the Kaleidoscope or something. It's like it's got a name like that.
I know what you're thinking, but it's not right. Maybe I can give him half a point.
I can
well,
take
give us
it.
a
I can
clue.
take a 0. I'm
Give
not
us a
afraid of
clue.
taking zeros.
Yeah, neither is this beer.
All right, final. What's your final answer?
Kaleidos something.
Oh, wait. No, never mind. I was just thinking of La Pera.
Kaleidoscope?
Kaleidoscope.
It is incorrect. You're
What's
thinking of Ambrosia.
Ambrosia, totally. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Ambrosia.
man, I am not... I don't know any
I've
restaurants.
been
in
to
this town.
Ambrosia twice, and it's always been a going away lunch for somebody in a business situation.
Oh, my God. So dramatic.
Yeah, it's always just like so and so is like worked here for 26 years, and now we're gonna have like the going away lunch. We're going to Ambrosia. It's like everybody's all twittery, blue. Wow, Ambrosia, that's so cool.
Put on it.
I
I
was
And
was
it is,
dramatic.
it
It
is a nice place because you go in and it's like it looks like it's gonna be real small, but it's like a TARDIS. It's like it gets bigger on the inside, and it has this thing where it's like there's this atrium, and then there's like viney.
That's an
green
anniversary
things.
date restaurant, I'd say.
Totally.
That's saying you're going there for going away and then saying like we're going to Ambrosia like that, it almost sounds like you're eating the person. Like it's so dramatic. You're like they're gone and maybe they're also the meal.
Also, the restaurant you were thinking of, the Italian restaurant
Yeah.
that was right next to, I think, Lucky Noodle,
I-
the Granary.
No, I was thinking the
Oh.
Granary is a pizza restaurant. I was
It's
thinking
gone.
of Lucky Noodle. Is the Lucky Noodle still here?
Lucky Noodle's, I believe, also gone.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
it was owned by the same people.
Yeah, because the Lucky Noodle is what I was thinking of because I always confuse it with the Noodle Bowl, which is the Korean place, which might be racist. I just feel like I don't know.
It's
Lucky,
it's
Lucky Noodle sounds kind of Asian. It sounds more Chinese.
also the same owners
Lucky
of...
Noodle sounds Asian,
Yeah.
and you're worried about offending people.
well, I said
That's
it.
like the most Asian name of.
That's
a
what.
thing.
Okay, that's my point, right? Like, that's why I always get confused because
Yeah, and you walk in, there's like a little cat with the arm that goes, and there's like
Right.
there's like a frog that's
They
like
have-
eating coins or
they
something.
have that
like,
shit at the Noodle
That's
Bowl.
an Asian restaurant.
That's what I'm
yes.
saying. It's why I get so
you're right.
confused.
Well, that I mean, the people who own the Granary and Lucky Noodle also owned Ring of Fire, which was a good Thai place, but that went out.
They
Then
Ring
the
of
Green
Fire
Ray-
got in trouble. They got kicked out of the country fair, and I think it was like they had some kind of sanitation issue. They got kicked out of the country fair, and a couple years later, the restaurant was gone too.
The owners apparently,
Wow, that takes a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
the owners have some trouble managing. They have a lot of money to open restaurants, but they have little trouble.
They should have put
with
more
money.
hemp in their
Well, you know what?
rings.
The Noodle Bowl is also owned by the family who owns Braille's, which is why kimchi is randomly on the Braille's menu. It's because they're Korean as shit.
That
They're
explains
Korean
a lot.
as shit.
Yeah, they put kimchi on their.
You're starting to sound pretty white here all of a sudden.
Yeah, you're starting off like maybe racist. No,
You're like super.
It's like
racist.
I'm just like warning you. I think I'm totally racist on the inside. And
As we go, it gets. Well, I'm from Eugene. We're 85% white. Like,
okay,
one of-
Mark.
Yes.
I'm not letting you walk away here without a prize. We're gonna combine those 2 half points. Actually, no, you have one.
Let's do one more question to find out.
Okay. Number 5. In your final restaurant is described as a spacious old school pizzeria established in
Cosmic.
1977 with athlete photos
World
on the wall,
Pies.
with athlete photos on the walls and sports on TV.
Oh,
I'm
hold
gonna-
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. It's
Lifeline.
the,
I'm gonna say Tracktown Pizza, even though I've never been in there.
You got it, yeah.
Yeah. Go-
Do you want to go with Tracktown for your
Yeah,
final
because
answer?
we just switched over. Like as you were describing it,
Yeah, it got
it
more
was like all of a
sportsy.
sudden it was like Tracktown.
It
was the
also
sports
helps,
place.
and I know you're only here sometimes. Cosmic is actually not Cosmic anymore.
I know it's World Pies.
Yeah, new ownership. So.
But it's still Cosmic to me because that's how I learned it.
Oh, hey, me too. Well, for me, it's still over by the UPS store, whatever that is.
But that's not my choice. My choice. Oh,
I already gave it to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tracktown Pizza was right.
There it is.
Yay! I got 1 point
You did it.
with help from friends.
No, we'll say you got 2. I think we're going to combine those half points
Oh.
together.
Well, yeah, because you got a point before. Yeah, so that's. Well,
Well-
that would be 3 because he got one on his own.
It was kind of like an amalgamation of a couple of different fractions of points.
Well, no, Tracktown was a lifeline.
Yeah, plus that 1 equals a prize.
But if you're combining half points, it should be 3 points.
Nice. You got a beer in that bag, or?
No, but we'll be going to the break where you can grab more beers from the kitchen.
Nice.
Okay,
As soon as
Mark-
you get
Oh,
fries.
there's a break.
There's a break. There's break
Wow.
music too. It's classy.
Mark is zipping open that bag. He's shaking
Do
up
I
that.
have to look?
You're supposed to not
look.
look,
Looking,
but you know
yeah.
what?
I can do it. I can do whatever. And this is like a This is a very like feminine little bag.
Yeah, I
that-
call it Dan's purse.
It's not a purse.
This
It's
is
an
like,
Ipsy bag, isn't it?
My girlfriend got an Ariel. She's been a guest, former
Ipsy,
guest.
yeah.
She got an Ipsy bag.
Not that
and
there's
we
anything
just
wrong with
use it.
that.
No.
Because we like those bags. It feels like it's just full of condoms.
There's
No,
nothing good.
no.
That's
Once
what
You know,
the
and like
last said.
condoms and ketchup
Once
packets.
again, we
What
took,
am I getting into here?
we
you
took
Did we
out
take
the
the
condom.
condom?
We took the condom out.
Oh,
Did you-
I found the best thing that's in
There
there.
it is.
actually.
Oh, actually,
That's controversial.
those were not great.
Those were not great. It's like one of those
Try it on air.
holiday. It's like one of those holiday
It's like a
chocolates that like has like a liqueur. in it.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
A chocolate liqueur thing. So I get one of these.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of those. And then we're gonna give you a little something after the break.
Are we?
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, okay.
Well,
But try this on air. I'm very excited to see what you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Do you not remember what
Well, yeah.
flavors these are, do you, Dan?
it says it on the label.
one
It
thing you
does.
don't know about me is that I basically eat garbage.
Hey,
Like, I'll
that's-
eat anything. Mostly what I do when I'm up in Sherwood is I just eat leftovers.
I like it.
And then I just make like a leftover burrito. Like
Sure.
I just go into the fridge
Yeah, just stir
and,
fry it up.
I
put
just
it in
like look
tortilla.
at stuff and I'm like based on age, like how long has it been in there? And then I just kind of make a burrito out of it.
That sounds like a good meal to
Microwave.
me. Put a tortilla on that bitch, you know.
And so I did not read the thing, but you know, this is so old. It's got, you know, when chocolate gets bad
It's
and
got
it starts like turning
dirty.
white
Yeah.
and stuff. It's like, and this thing, and it's got the creases from the packaging. Like
Yeah.
it warmed up and it cooled down, and it warmed up and like it was.
He
in,
knows his
like
chocolate too well.
Like it was in Dan's pocket at one point.
Well, and it's you know
like
it's,
because he stole it from a party he
it's-
was at.
it's been in the prize bag in here, which you know of course it's been freezing. So then I turn my heater on, and then the room gets too hot, so it goes back and forth in temperature in this room a lot. Terrible for the instruments.
So you bit the part that has no alcohol in it, just the neck.
I know, just the
Just
the
a
top
chocolate
part.
review.
And what I can tell you about the quality of the chocolate
Mhm.
is it's not good.
There's none. There's no.
It's
quality.
like tasteless. Like
Well,
it's
could you
just like
compare it to a chocolate coin? Better or worse?
it's very chocolate coin,
Very chocolate.
but
it
just
looks
like
chocolate
one
coin.
step below chocolate coin.
Nice.
But yeah, you're right there
Yeah.
because chocolate coins are the worst.
Yeah.
That was the one was surprisingly bad because it's supposed to have booze in it.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know the exciting thing about this is that this is from like before Halloween. He put those in the bag a long time ago, and no guest has picked it for a while, for like 7 episodes.
Don't downplay the, the
that's
chocolate.
good. I have an
10?
iron gut. It's totally fine. You know, and I took another bite, and now I can see that there's liquid on the inside.
Yeah, some kind of.
But it's kind of like a gelatinous, slow flowing kind of thing. It's like it doesn't really look like booze at all.
It looks kind of red from over here, but I'm guessing that's probably the chocolate color. Kind of
No, that's
brownish.
blood.
Can you identify that liqueur? I think one of the ones
No,
we
it's
had was
totally
like
it's like an
tequila flavored.
amaretto or something like that.
Oh, there it is. That's pretty good. That's pretty
Seems
good.
like I
guess.
could be right.
Actually, you know, as far as things go, it's not too bad. You know what I would do with something like this?
Yeah.
I'd drop it in my coffee.
Oh, there you go. Melt it in. Yeah.
I would make it like a coffee
Get
flavor enhancer.
Get like another shot or two in there, and you've almost got a strong coffee. Well, with that, we are going to go to the break because I think that was a pretty long first half. And when we come back, we're all going to have fresh beers and fresh whiskeys.
And
if
fresh
you will.
perspective. There's some fresh
Easy
perspective.
for you to say.
It's not easy for him to say. He struggled so
Some-
hard.
Fresh perspective.
And there it is. All right, welcome back to What Up Eugene.
What up, Eugene?
There it is. That's me practicing my slide out game, and I think I nailed it on that fade out.
That was sounding like some Shook twins right there.
Dude, that was our guest last week, Clayton, playing a piece. He didn't title it, but he said, "This is the music I play while I'm waiting for people." And I
Is this
think it really
Clayton,
was.
the same Clayton who fixes bicycles?
He is, and he knows you as well.
Ah,
He
I
said he's a
love that
small
guy.
world. We told him we're bringing Mark Davis on. He's like, "You got Mark Davis," and we were like, "I know, good get, right? Good get."
He knew everyone we were talking about. Geronimo. He actually fixed Geronimo's bike just before he came on.
Oh, totally.
He's fixed everyone's bike. I should have him fix my bike. My bike.
Oh,
is-
he's fixed the
shambles.
co-cycle. Do you know about the
I do
co-cycle?
not. Let's jump right into
Oh.
that.
There's 3 of us, right? And so doing this show right now,
Yes.
we could do this show on the co-cycle
I don't
because
know
it is a 4-wheeled, 3-seater, 2 pilots, 1 passenger vehicle that lives in the basement of the Broadway Commerce Center. It's like the Bat Cave for the co-cycle.
I was thinking about getting ourselves set up for Twitch to no video, just live stream audio for season 2. But why live stream audio when we could just ride around on a bike yelling at people?
Oh, you totally should.
Yeah, just talk. Like, don't even record the audio. It'd be impossible to get all this gear on a bike. But we'll just go and just do the podcast downtown.
Oh yeah, people love the co-cycle. It's like it's all lit up.
I always see people downtown with megaphones, and it's so annoying because their message is not my podcast. But we could just go downtown. We could, like they do that, right? Like a Comedy Bang Bang. They're always doing live shows. We'll do that right downtown, Kesey Plaza.
Kesey Plaza.
Kesey
Square?
Plaza.
What's it called?
I call it Kesey Square, but I guess it's Plaza.
It is Kesey Square. It's also called something Plaza.
Oh,
Broadway Plaza.
Broadway Plaza.
Broadway Plaza.
I combined
Plaza.
them. I coined
Plaza.
them. Well, I am having a sip of. God, that smells. I've got the.
You don't
scotch.
like whiskey. Why
I'm not
are you
whiskey
even
man.
drinking whiskey if you don't like
I'm
it?
trying to broaden my horizons, and this smells so strong. It's like half water. Let's go for it. Excellent. Actually, it smells a lot stronger than it tastes because it is half water.
Well, yeah, you watered it down, which is good
Yeah.
and
Tastes
smart.
like water. Yeah.
How did the Eugene Tech community come about?
The Eugene Tech community.
Or the EUGTECH club? The not
Tech
even a club.
community,
The
Dan.
group,
Tech
the community.
Well, the community itself is like kind of always been around. There's like a long, strong history of like tech folks in Eugene, and so, when it was time to do Eugene Tech, it was already there. They just didn't have anybody who was like flying the flag.
You didn't have a brand, like a logo, and now you did. And was that in part by one of your previous managers, Jessica? Is it Bobrowski or Brobowski?
Sure, yeah. I just call her
Whichever way.
Jessica because I'm so
Okay.
bad with names. And she did a great job taking Eugene Tech from something that I was just kind of doing as like a local tech calendar kind of thing. And she made it a for real, legit organization. And so she started off as a intern. And the very first thing was, well, let's make a cookbook, right? And so we're going to make a cookbook for like, if you want to promote your tech scene, here's a formula for doing it. And so her internship was, let's just codify this thing and make the Eugene Tech cookbook. So if you wanted to go do Springfield Tech, or you wanted to do Albany Tech, or you wanted to do whatever tech, like here's a way to build tech community, or at least here's a formula for doing it. And we'd love it if somebody else was doing, like if there was all these different tech communities going on, but then we never really published it, in a meaningful way so anybody could do it. But yeah, I mean, the community is always there.
Yeah.
Like Tech Tuesday is a good example of that. There's no speakers at Tech Tuesday. It's just every Tuesday, that you can go down to the barn light, and if you see the golden unicorn of awesome on the table, then you can just like sit down and start talking to people.
Oh,
and
cool.
so basically Eugene Tech is just, if people come to town and they're doing tech stuff, or they're designing, or they're making, or they're doing whatever, we just want to run into that first, because it's a really good, open and inclusive community of people who are like, hey, what are you working on?
Yeah, once you see that unicorn, you can assume you're a good company, and even if they aren't, you're gonna meet some new friends. I was wondering how
Go for it. What was your
I was wondering how the unicorn came about.
The golden unicorn of awesome was, we started the Switchboard in like 2015 or something like that. And it's this series of asks and offers. It's a startup that was in Portland, and they made it originally to connect like alumni organizations or something like that. But Portland has a Portland startup Switchboard. And it's really cool because you can just like, it's asks and offers. You don't have to be on social media. You don't have to be on Facebook. You don't have to be on whatever the flavor of the week is to get connected. And I was like, well, we should have that in Eugene. And so I got a hold of the Switchboard people, and they're like, sure, yeah. And we were like, well, what do you want to name it? Do you want to make it the Eugene Startup Switchboard? Or do you want to make it the Eugene Programmers Switchboard? And we kind of talked about it. I'm like, it's such a small market. let's go for the biggest umbrella we can, and what's that? And so we kind of agreed. It's like EUGTECH was like the easiest, broadest.
Well, and that actually brings about my question, which was, so as addressed earlier, I've actually only known about Mark for 2 or 3 weeks here. But when I met you started talking about EUGTECH and, started talking about our podcast. And I really don't consider any of this tech. I mean, it's all gear. I guess it's all recording.
Yeah, are you kidding me? This room is so full of tech.
But exactly. And that's where you came back and you were like, no, this is totally a tech thing. So I guess for a broader audience, for someone who feels like their project maybe doesn't count or isn't, how would you describe it in a way that's like, I mean, it seems like you're being pretty inclusive in general. So if someone's kind of intimidated, they don't want to talk to the unicorn because they think that whatever they're doing doesn't quite count as tech. Maybe what I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know where you're coming from. Like, it's like, if I'm not a programmer, can I go to this thing and people are going to be talking about,
they're going to be talking about the latest jQuery
Kotlin and React and like all this stuff, and I'm just going to glaze over and not care.
Mm-hmm.
But the broader definition of tech is like, if you're in digital creatives,
mm-hmm.
And so if you're doing digital audio like you're doing right now, that's a thing. If you're doing design, if you're doing websites, if you're doing machine learning, if you're doing blockchain, anything that you're doing, pretty much any company you run into right now or any project you're working on, we're in the fucking technical age, right?
Sure, yeah,
everything's pretty much technical, except for cool things that aren't, acoustic music and whatever, but we don't focus on that. We're just like, if you're in the tech community, we just want you to run into other cool people who are in the tech community. And so that's why we do Tech Tuesday. So you can just show up, and there's no formula for being there. There's no bar to get in.
There's no prerequisite. There's
no prereq. Yeah, you can just like hang out with people and see what's going on. And it totally changes based on like the time of year and what projects are going on. Like right now, it's there's a lot of women in tech stuff going on. There's Redefining Women in Tech is working with Mozilla projects. We got Lane STEM doing stuff, and they're all showing up to talk to each other at Tech Tuesday, because how do you do gigabit? What's the gigabittiness of your project? Mm-hmm. You're going to have to stream it. Or, everybody's talking about 4K streaming. Like, how does that work? Those are technical details.
Yeah.
Like, you need to run into people who know the difference between a 4K camera and a 4K stream.
Sure.
And what does that mean and how you do it. And I mean, you could go out to industry and like try to just hire somebody to do it for you. But there's a lot of really well-intended folks in the community who will like opinions are free.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
You can just show up and like people are just drinking beer and like, if you've got a question, they've got an answer. And so that's the thing. It's just like an information.
I like that. If you've got a question, they've got an answer. That sounds like a really good, a very open approach. And it sounds like too, you could just, if you're not sure, you could watch the live stream a couple times and get an idea of what's going on, and then come talk to them in person. Yeah,
and so part of it is like we're trying to amplify everybody's voice in the tech community. And so if you don't have a good social media presence, or you don't have a way to get your message out, if you use the Switchboard, then you'll immediately engage the EUGTECH moderators, and they'll look at your post and say, what are you asking for here? Let's help you put a call to action on this post. What are you trying to do? Are you starting a project? Do you need help with something? What's going on? Is this an event? If it's an event, you got one job here: what, when, and where. And so we try to help people formulate their ask or their offer, and then we'll invite them to be on the special guest on the live show. And we'll do the best we can to elevate their message on social media, mostly on Facebook and Twitter. We're starting to get into Instagram more. Basically, we're just going to go with the flow. Instagram seems to be the jam right now, so we're kind of transitioning away from Facebook and doing some Instagram stuff, but nothing's set in stone, and we're just like trying to be awesome and help other people be awesome as well.
You find out whatever outlet everyone responds to the most,
Instagram,
which is kind of what we do here.
Yeah, and Instagram's definitely the easiest. We post everything on Instagram and on Tumblr. And, every once in a while I'll share something on Facebook, not too often because I only have like 90 friends. I don't want to annoy them too much. They know I podcast. But Instagram's easy because you just pull your phone out, take a picture, and you're done. Like that's the post. Tumblr, it's a little harder, and then it's also you have to go and load the website and then scroll through. I don't know. It feels like Instagram's just right there immediately. You just make the content and it's out there.
Well, yeah, and Instagram's great because it's just a series of pictures mostly.
And the hashtags. That's what I like. Facebook is not great for hashtags. Instagram and Twitter, awesome for hashtags.
Well, on Facebook is just such a letdown, right?
There's
It's just
less
like it's a
reading
bunch
on
of old
Instagram.
people on there, and people want to turn it into 4chan, they want to turn it into Reddit, and they want to turn it into all these different things. And it's like, it's just garbage right now.
Well-
and it's like we're kind of looking for anything else, but most of our, most of the people who follow us, it's like they're getting,
on Facebook.
they're on Facebook. So it's like we try to, it's going to end up being the thing where it's like, we always post there too kind of thing.
Well,
But that's not where the fun part is.
Because Instagram does live streaming as well. So have you guys thought about switching over to an Instagram stream?
Yeah. And we talk about, you guys, I'm not in control of anything.
Sure.
And so it's like, it's whoever's participating and where they want to go with that. Like Josh really wants to do YouTube.
Sure.
But the YouTube presence isn't built out in such a way to where it's attracting much right now. So we're not going to do
Definitely.
and we're doing Facebook Live right now, and we actually get people who connect during the stream and ask questions and like it and do whatever. So as long as that immediate feedback is happening, we feel like we're in the right space.
Sure. Are you guys able to see the questions on your phones and answer them while you're streaming?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, it seems like definitely the place to be. Not necessarily for live streaming, just in kind of video content right now is Twitch, because YouTube has the whole demonetizing scandal going on, and Twitch has subscriptions and bits, and you can get bits for free, and you can get subscriptions with your Amazon Prime. So people who aren't necessarily actually giving Twitch money are still being able to give creators money.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's sort of like you could pay Patreon for them to make YouTube videos, but you could also just pay Twitch directly, and then you're getting access to the content.
Well, Twitch is great, and we're looking at right now we use OBS. Like if you hired us to go do a thing, because we do that as a service.
Sure.
And so if you hire us to do something, like we did the Archimoto launch party, and so we brought the good cameras, brought the PCs, ran OBS on there, and did the best stream that we could. And if you're gonna put that out there, the best places to stream content right now is coming from the game community. And so Twitch is real strong. Mixer's looking good. It's got some interesting, high speed, low latency connection type stuff. Like if you post to, YouTube, there's like a 12-second delay.
Oh, it's crazy. And I've never seen a YouTube stream in... Honestly, I might have seen some in 720, but they're all like 480 mostly. And I've seen Twitch streams in 1080. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on. There's one group, Loading Ready Run. They're Canadian, so they're not really local. But they do a twice monthly live show, and it's like Saturday Night Live. They have like 7 cameras they switch between. It's fucking... The production is incredible on the show, and it's all live.
Yeah, and so we're responding to a lot of the needs in the community right now, which are around these gigabit or Mozilla Gigabit funded grant projects, and it's all about leveraging that fiber infrastructure. So it's like low latency. They want to do like 2 locations where you have teachers like playing off of each other in real time, but one of them's downtown, the other one's remote, and just trying to get that interactivity going on. And Twitch is where it's at, and a lot of these gaming platforms have figured that out, because you can watch a Twitch stream of somebody playing the game and interact with them in real time, and that's just not something that you really see that much of on the other streaming platforms.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, the Twitch chat is the place to be, I hear. I don't know. There's a lot of control too, where you can kind of filter it or have moderators come in, so you don't just get constantly spam, which I think you get a lot in the YouTube comments and probably in the YouTube live chat. So on Twitch they have you can either only subscribed or logged in members can comment. So you get a really more the people who want to interact are the people interacting, not the people who just want to troll you or.
Yeah, and that's totally the case when you do something like Discord versus like Slack. Like Slack, if you're in, you're in. You can do whatever you want. You can be a total jerk. You can, but like for Discord, there's this whole like graduated process. Like only certain people can comment, only certain people can do stuff. So like you have to buy your way in through effort. And so like proof of work, you're in there participating. Now you can, now you can interact in a more meaningful way. And we're trying to help, make it so when you're doing these, if you're going to put yourself on the internet and you're going to be streaming some of these, topics that you want to talk about, you don't want to be set up for trolls to just show up and just like ruin your day. And that's what you get on Facebook. That's what you're going to get on YouTube. And they just don't have the level of granularity to control what's going on. And so, yeah, we're looking at Twitch and Mixer and some of these things where it's like you can do polls, right? Like you can actually ask the people who are watching, and it like takes over the chat window. And so you're not just chatting anymore. It's like they're asking you a question. There's 4 answers, and that's the only thing that you can do for the next 2 minutes is just answer the thing.
Just answer the poll.
And it just like pulls people back into, it's like, oh, this is why I'm here. This is, this is what's going on. And so there'll be some really interesting things happening in the beginning of 2018 and moving forward, getting a lot of these community events online. And so that everybody, if you can't get downtown to participate in the actual event, we're making it so that you can participate online.
Sure, yeah.
In a meaningful way. And then there's a whole different level of production for the event to deal with that. And so it's really interesting working with different groups because everybody wants to do it, but it's extra work.
Yeah, it's a challenge. Even just doing this, right? Like this is the place that I live in, and I don't know if it comes across because it's high quality production, I think, but there is
super high quality production.
There is an hour of cleaning my bedroom, folding over the mattress thing that I sleep on, vacuuming, getting rid of all my trash, then setting up mic stands and mics, and it's like, I can't leave the mics and the mic stand set up all the time. There's just not enough room in here. So there is always like an hour of doing that. That's just like, if I want to record music, I have to think like, well, I either record it on my phone as a demo just for myself, or I set up all the mics and get it all ready, and it takes a while, and I have to, it's a small space. So like the extra work can be very discouraging a lot.
Yeah. And that's, we started doing the Facebook live stream because it was just, we can put an iPad on a tripod and point it and hit the go button.
Yeah, and you're ready to go.
And we're just kind of done.
Yeah.
And we can plug in some lapel mics into the iPad, and it was just so easy. And that's one level of being able to do it. When you start getting into, higher production higher production value and better streaming and all this stuff, you're breaking out computers and you're breaking out lights and you're doing like all this stuff.
Yeah,
and it's just like it's such a different level of effort.
It is. I mean, it's crazy, and it's and with any hobby, of course, there's like an amount of money you can spend that's just insane. But anything in the world of like audio or recording technology, you could like if you want to do a multiple camera setup, you can get a Blackmagic camera switcher, and that's like $3,000, and that switches your camera. That's all it does, and it's like $3,000.
Right.
That alone, spending several grand on each of the the 4K cameras, and then like these are SM58, so they're universal.
You're pointing at your Shure mic right now.
Yeah, the Shure mic. So those are very nice, but those are $100 each. If you wanted a nicer, if you wanted a condenser mic, or if you want to get like a lapel mic that doesn't just sound like ass all the time.
I only buy like so we bootstrapped EUGTECH all the way.
Yeah. And
so like the equipment that we use is like donated, disused iPad minis. I only buy the $23 lapel mics from Amazon.
Yeah.
It's just craptastic, and and you can see it.
Yeah.
In the production quality, but it takes real money to do it in a real way, and so it's fun that these grants are coming to town, and they're not huge grants, and so people have to be really careful about what they're spending it on. But people are coming out of the woodwork that actually know this stuff, and they're saying this is the appropriate equipment. These are the things you want to spend your money on, because at the end of the grant, you want to continue doing what you're doing. Right. You don't want to have enough, budget there to continue producing it, maybe produce it in higher quality, which is, of course, if you spend the whole grant on a nice computer, but then you don't have any interface and any mics and any camera, it didn't really do you any good. Yeah. So the hope is right now, and we don't know if this is going to pan out this way, but like as everybody who's responding to these Mozilla grants are they have an opportunity to buy equipment so that they can fulfill these grants. And so it's cameras, it's PCs, whatever they need to do this stuff. And we're encouraging people to like say, let's make a shared resource.
Yeah, just one.
And let's make like basically like the AV collection of gear that anybody can use in the region to if they've got a show, we can like send the equipment and some interns to like go do that on a budget after this grant period is ended. So hopefully we won't just have a flash in the pan like, oh, wasn't those two events really awesome, and then we never heard from them again because now that stuff's just sitting on a shelf somewhere because it was part of the grant.
Right,
and
yeah,
so
no one has time, or it's not if 3 different people all get a nice piece of gear, but then they're not sharing it, you need a couple different grants to put it all together, right?
Well, yeah, and this is the hope, and it's like nobody's in charge of this stuff, and so you just hope that everybody who's having a platform for people to come together and say, well, how would that work? How would we have a shared resource for that? That's kind of like what the EUGTECH thing is. Whoever wants to volunteer to help with that can totally do it. And EUGTECH just like changes its mission depending on the needs of the community. So we're like doing this shift right now into like just doing video streaming because that's the need. And so that's what we're doing. And when I say we, like there's no company. We're an Innovate Oregon project, but it's mostly run by interns. We get interns from the LCC Media Arts and just volunteers, like we call them industry pros, who are just like willing to donate some time to do it. So it just gets bigger the more people want to be involved, and it moves in the direction of the energy of the people who are involved with it.
Sure.
And so we're going to be doing video in the beginning of 2018 because that's what's going on. And we were looking at doing a blog before, and we had some authors involved, and we were doing whatever. We kind of fizzled out, and so we don't care. We're just gonna do the video.
You're gonna do what people do, and I mean, lately it's been trending towards like Instagram. It's been trending towards a social media it's like there and gone. Basically, like Snapchat, like just it's in an instant. Not like no one really subscribes to blogs as much as they used to. It's more
and people love the videos.
Yeah, video. It's videos.
It's like the amount of reach we get on a video versus just like an event post or something on social media. It's 10x or whatever.
Yeah, well, and it's like I'm certainly a hypocrite about it because I like podcasts, but most of the podcasts I like are video podcasts. I like to watch stuff. So, but then of course I'm producing an audio only podcast, and I know that like that's for me. For myself, I'm not even a member of the audio only podcast audience. Like I listen to a couple. I
listen to a ton in my car when I'm doing my commute. And so, are you guys on? Are you on
Stitcher?
We're on Stitcher right now. If you go on Stitcher and you type in "What Up Eugene," which by the way, that's something I want to talk about for branding. It's with a space. If you type it as one word, we do not show up. We learned.
I did. I went looking for you.
Yeah, we're going to I think maybe rebrand it to be one word because
we're also going to change it because the logo right now is the logo of the studio. We call this Moments Ago Studios, and we're thinking about changing the logo just for the Stitcher representation.
Yeah, because
we host through SoundCloud.
We host through SoundCloud right now because they just give you an RSS feed and
it's free.
Well, it's not free.
Oh, it's like $50.
I pay $15 a month, but it might be cheaper to set up and host my own website, but that's a lot of effort. I'm a little bit techie, but I'm not that techie. And
when we did the original EUGTECH podcast in like 2015 or something, we did like 13 episodes or something like that. I put them on archive.org.
Oh, that's a good one.
And so when you upload to archive.org, it like takes your audio and busts it into like OGG and MP3 and like in different bit rates and like all this stuff. And then it's always going to be there.
Is it free?
Archive.org is free.
Do they give you an RSS feed? That's the other thing.
Yes.
No, okay, maybe we should.
Well, actually, we did. So it was a combination of uploading the source material to archive.org, and then I use FeedBurner, which may or may not go away at any moment. It's like a Google product that they just haven't killed yet. Yeah. But we use FeedBurner, and then you can use FeedBurner and like tie it into iTunes, and you can tie it into Stitcher, and you can tie it into whatever. And so it's kind of like a Rube Goldberg device, but it was all free.
Right. So SoundCloud's not free. It costs us $15 a month, but they give us the RSS feed, and it's easy to use as the uploader. It's a pain in the ass. The app sucks. It's such a nightmare to actually use to listen to podcasts, but easy to upload to, and they give us the RSS feed. So, as far as hosting our own website, like, they give us unlimited amount of space and unlimited, we don't have to pay for
Well, and
server
you're probably
usage,
going to be a lot more discoverable if you're on a service
Yeah.
than, like, hosting your own thing.
So it's like, for sure, we get like 30 views an episode. Probably if we were paying for our own server and we were paying, per usage, 30 views an episode would not be very much data. It'd probably cost less than $15 a month. But if that explodes, which is right, that's the whole like cloud expansion thing. If it becomes 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever, we don't have to pay. We're only paying $15 a month. It never cost us more, which is the convenient thing with SoundCloud.
Do you do a show a week or a show a month?
We do one show a week. This is our 17th. I think in the last 19 weeks we've done 17 shows. We missed 2 weeks.
Goodness, you are dedicated.
Yeah, and we're only taking 1 week off for the season break. We're coming back 16 in a row.
2018
season 2.
Fresh
We're
blood.
so stoked. So here's what's going on with season 2. I mentioned it before. Old stuff going out of RSS, new stuff going in, and that means it's going to be in play in iTunes with original themes. And a lot. We're going to do a couple of things of rebranding. We might do the beer review different. We might do no guest intros because the guest intros usually involve copywritten material, such as today's guest intro. We might get a little bit of royalty free music. We might I'm kind of intimidated.
Well, there's all that Creative Commons stuff out there.
Yeah, I'm kind of intimidated about trying to write a piece of game show music. So we might just find some royalty free game show music.
Well, you should use the Switchboard.
Yeah, we should post on there and look.
Yeah,
for
because
music.
if you said, "Hey, I'm doing the hey, what's up, Eugene?
Yeah.
I'm doing this cool podcast," and just tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
We made a mistake the first year. We used a bunch of copyrighted stuff because it was fun and cool and catchy and easy.
We figured it's nonprofit. We're like, we'll fix that when we make money.
Totally. And you're like, now we're upping our game, and so we're looking for original content. They can do the intro and the outro and the whatever.
Especially for like the break music, if we could have different music.
And the
every
thing is,
episode,
the people who watch the Switchboard are like people who do like music for games. And so there's a bunch of like Mike Jones audio. Like he would be like, sure, whatever. Yeah. What do you want?
That'd be awesome. Like, other than Michael McCarthy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've had Michael McCarthy on. He did some original music, and Michael Jones we haven't had on yet. But
you totally should. He's awesome.
Yeah. So that's for season 2. Here's my plan, and I haven't ran it by Dan yet. I'm thinking 16 episodes like season 1. Season 1. So we've had 17 episodes with 16 guests. We did 1 repeat. No repeats in season 2, but we'll bring people from season 1 back on. So and we have to tell them at some point. For weeks we've been saying Geronimo's the first guest of season 2.
Yeah.
We've not told him yet. At some point we have to message him. And
Geronimo was already on?
He was on, yeah. So we're gonna repeat season 1 guests. We're just 16 weeks in a row of no repeats starting from season 2.
Oh, gotcha.
So we're gonna because some people want.
So what you're telling me is I can't be a regular.
You can come back on season 2. You can come once a season. That's
Right.
That's pretty fair, right?
Totally
so we want to have. We've had a lot of really good interviews, and we like them a lot, and we want to bring them all back on. But we also want to have new people because there's so many people who are who want to come on or who we haven't had yet. Then there's people who are active in scenes doing stuff, and there are people who just want to hang out. We had.
Well, you know what you can do is you control the guest segments on the EUGTECH live show, because there's a bunch of great people who show up for that, and they're so well intended.
Yeah.
Because our production quality is crap, but they show up anyway. And so it was last night we were hearing from, very high production quality Tesla show that's going on at the Holt Center by Harmonic Labs. I mean, these guys are full on artists. They're so great and they're so multi-talented. And it's this group of, Bohemian Dub and all this stuff. It's there's a huge group of artists there, and they're really great about giving up a little bit of time to say what's going on.
Yeah. So that's our plan for season 2. So far, we have a couple ideas for people, and we've got Geronimo for sure week 1, and we're gonna go from there with copyright free music or music that's royalty free or whatever, so we can use it with no worries. Then it'll be in the Play Store, iOS, Stitcher, and of course still on SoundCloud. And I think that's where we're at here. We're hitting about that hour 10 mark for our finale. So we're looking for final thoughts and, any other last minute stories, because I said this one can go kind of long. And then we're going to do some plugs.
Sure. So was that a toss over to me to?
Yeah, whatever you want. This is your, if you had 15 to 20 minutes left on the show, or 5 minutes, your call. Where do you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing that you can participate in right now is bar camp is coming to Eugene.
Bar camp.
And so bar camp, it's not in a bar, and it doesn't have anything to do with camping. And I don't know why it's called bar camp, but
like it.
That's what it is. It's an unconference. And so what that means is you don't know what the schedule is or who's speaking until you show up. So participants show up. Some people are willing to talk about certain topics. And so in the formation period, it's a 1-day thing.
Yeah.
So you'll show up, and then between 8 and 10 o'clock, people say, I can talk about this topic, or I can talk about this topic. So speakers will...
So you can just show up and talk about stuff.
Speakers will show up. Like, you could talk about... We could
talk about podcasting.
You could talk about... I want to talk about podcasting. I want to talk about whatever. And then people have their, it's like 2-minute pitch or something like that on the thing they want to talk about. And then it goes into this voting round where people kind of do dots on the... you vote, everybody gets 3 votes, and it's like whatever rises to the top, then they schedule that out for the rest of the day.
Oh, okay.
And then that's the content for the show. So it's really based on, you really only hear about content you want to hear about.
Yeah, you kind of go and vote on what you want to hear.
And the speakers are all local.
Yeah.
And it's just like a really cool thing. It's happening like January 20th.
January 20th? Okay.
And now's a great time to get involved with that. It's the first time it's coming in Eugene. And so that's going to be a lot of fun.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, I would love to go and put my hat in the ring and try to get a presentation going.
That'd be awesome.
Because I feel like I could improvise about podcasting for 30 or so minutes. We improvise for an hour a week here.
Sure, yeah. Well, and it's a well-known thing. Like if you go Google bar camp, you'll see all these videos made of different bar camps that have happened around the country, and it's a cool thing, and it's nice that it's happening in Eugene for the first time. And I always like the first times for things.
It's our chance to make a first impression, right? Show up, have awesome stuff to talk about, and they're like, that was cool, let's come back.
Well, yeah, and it puts Eugene on the map of when you go look for bar camp stuff. It starts showing up as like, here's the one in London, here's the one in Seattle, here's the one in Austin, here's the one in Eugene, right? And so it's like just helping to get Eugene on the map of like most legit, urban zones have these cool events. And now we've got bar camp. And
Sweet.
There's other events like, we do Hack for a Cause in the spring. And then there's, Eugene Mini Maker Fair. And there's all these things where it's like, this is what makes the region legit. And there's a bunch of, and they're all open and participatory. And so if you want to be involved, if any of these things tickle your fancy, just show up.
Yeah.
And you're
awesome.
Totally
You're
involved.
there.
Yeah. And that's one of the great things about Eugene, because I spent some time in Portland. Now I'm down here in Eugene, and you can have an impact in Eugene because of the nature, the collaborative nature of the folks in town. Everybody's like super fans of everybody else. Like if you talk about, what you're doing,
sure,
everybody's super, they're like right behind you. They're not competitive. Everybody wants to support you. And that's not necessarily the same in bigger urban areas. You'd have a hard time having the What's Up San Francisco podcast.
Right. Well, and that's definitely something, we noticed a lot when we had our guest on last week, Clayton, is everyone we brought up, he knew of and was super, super into them. And then, of course, Clayton.
Into
and
everything. That guy's the most positive guy I've ever met in my life.
That's what I've said. Yeah, he's incredible.
Awesome.
So his energy is just like, I can't match it. We're like, you want to, you try to.
It was an incredible. I recommend, not that there's anything, I recommend this episode, but if you're already hearing this one, I recommend episode 16. Dan mentioned putting the beer that he had on a flight. He said, I'd put that on a flight for the review. And Clayton and I both thought he was talking about a beer, not a flight, or like a plane, not a flight of beers.
Oh, right.
And then Clayton just started talking about drinking on a plane and the flight to New Zealand. And then it was a 25-minute story about New Zealand.
It was amazing.
Incredible.
He started going into it, and I just was like, I'm like, where are we going? It was amazing.
The most seamless transition. He was like, oh, they give you free beers on the flight to New Zealand, and off we were.
And that was, it was a great time.
Yeah, Clayton's awesome.
So,
and the thing, the funny thing about Clayton is if you get him talking, he'll tell you about everything that's happening in Eugene.
Oh yeah.
Like he'll tell you about the Toolbox Project.
That's what we did. The second half was all he just talked about the whole history of the Toolbox Project.
And you ask him, he knows everything about everything.
He knows so much about Eugene. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So we got to wrap up here. You keep mentioning Switchboard. How do I find that? Do I Google Switchboard Eugene? Is it a URL?
If you just Google Eugene Tech,
like
the first 5 things you're gonna see is like the Switchboard, the Facebook, the meetup group.
It's like Eugene Tech, EUGTECH.switchboard, right?
Well, actually, we've got short URLs for all that, and so EUGBoard. EUG board takes you to the switchboard.
Like EUG.board or
just EUGBoard. EUG board
with no dot. I don't know how to.
EUGboard.com.
.com. Okay, I was
sorry. Those
because sometimes they're like .co or whatever.
You need a dot, whatever, right? No, but these are like legit URLs, so you can just imply the .com.
Okay.
And so there's like EUGBoard. If you want to get on the Slack channel, the self-inviter is EUG Slack.
EUG Slack.
Okay. EUG Slack. .com. Yeah, and Eugene Tech is EugeneTech.org.
Okay.
Because it's a nonprofit,
sure,
organization, and we're actually doing we haven't announced it yet, but in 2018 we're doing a fundraiser.
You heard it here first, folks. Oh my God!
You heard it here first.
You heard it first.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a fundraiser. You can buy Eugene. The number one ask is for people. They want the Eugene Tech logo T-shirts.
Sure, you gotta get the merch.
And so we're working with Threadbare. We're making an awesome set of shirts. And one of the fun things about Eugene Tech is we've got these like memes that are built in to Eugene Tech. There's the Golden Unicorn of Awesome.
Sure.
There was a great blog post that Julie Anderson put together that was talking about zebracorns, because unicorns get a bad rap in tech community because they're like, 10x startup companies are called unicorns.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And then there's another type of company that's called a zebra, which is like more realistic companies that are starting out. And so she did a blog post about like this zebracorn concept, which is like, basically you're trying to be awesome, but you're also kind of rooted in reality a little bit. So there's like unicorns and zebracorns, and there's narwhals, and there's like there's all this like animal stuff, and we have beautiful commissioned artwork from local artists. That is, if you go to the Code Shop space, you'll see the Golden Unicorn of Awesome.
I saw that. That was a nice painting.
It's a totally commissioned artwork from Liza Burns, and that's awesome. We've got, emojis that we use in the Slack channel that Magdalene Rose put together. We've got Mona Superhero. She's actually from Portland, but she's an ally. Mona Superhero put together the zebracorn thing. Anyway, there's just a bunch of fun stuff, and so you can. There's different levels of sponsorship for Eugene Tech, and it like starts off at Narwhal, which is like, hey, I like you guys, but I can only afford $5,
sure,
kind of thing. And then it goes zebra, zebracorn, golden unicorn, awesome, and it's like at certain levels you get T-shirts. There's sticker packs that are these stickers that are like this commissioned artwork from local artists, and we're just trying to make a cool package that's like all about promoting local artists. And
so is that on Patreon, or where do people donate to join that?
Oh, right now if you go to EugeneTech.org,
yeah,
it'll tell you. It's like we need your help. Basically what we're doing is we're trying to replace our Wi-Fi hotspots. And so there's another organization, the national organization, and if you donate to them at a $500 level, they will give you a Wi-Fi hotspot that has unlimited LTE data.
That's pretty good.
For a year. And so and we've got one of those that was donated to us last year, but it ran out of juice. And so we use that to go do the live streaming when we do things like in Kesey Square, when we're not on the fiber, or if we go like visit a high school or something like that. we need that hotspot to go with us, and it's crazy expensive if it was like Verizon or whatever. And so we're just trying to get up to like a $500 level so we can get one hotspot. $1,000 level, we get like 2.
Yeah,
you know, stuff like that. So we haven't launched the thing yet, but if you wanted to donate today, you could go to EugeneTech.org, and we have it set up as a shopping cart, and you can like do your thing, get your t-shirt, get your sticker pack, whatever. You're going to pay, you know, $40 for a t-shirt, but because it's going to a good
it's going for a good cause.
And you're going to be the first people in town that get the really great, high quality, threadbare EugeneTech
that's
logo
what you
stuff.
want. You want to be wearing the shirt, and people go, "What the fuck is that?" And you go, "Oh, you don't know? You gotta. Here's EugeneTech, EUGTECH.org. Go get your shirt.
Yep.
Then you'll be like, oh, that's where Lars got the cool shirt."
Well, we'll link to that in the bio.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I got this to plug. January. Let's see. Laser Light Show at the Science Factory is going until the end of the year.
Nice.
They have the holiday. They have like the Queen. I think they have the Pink Floyd.
Oh, sure.
I've been meaning to go to that myself, so definitely get there. I hear it's something great to see. There's no drink and draw next Monday.
Oh, no drink. Well, yeah,
it's Christmas
Day.
Christmas. But I will be there. The drink and draw after.
Well, Tuesday.
Where's Drink and Draw?
That's at Cornucopia on 5th and Pearl.
Mm-hmm. What time is that? 9 o'clock?
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Now, if you're feeling left out of the drink and draw situation because it's Christmas, but you don't celebrate holidays because you're a Grinch, Tuesday, the day after, they're still doing Tech Tuesday, and I've been invited on as a co-host.
Oh, are you?
I'm going on. Oh, I'm so excited.
Co-host? That's awesome.
I'm told there are so far no guests lined up, so I think it's going to be a whole half an hour or maybe even an hour. I'm going to drag it up.
I'm thinking this guy should be a guest.
Dan never.
I may or may not be.
But I'm definitely going to be on, and we're going to talk for an hour. Not very much about podcasting because I like tech too. I haven't actively programmed anything in like 3 years, but I like tech. I follow the news. I'm going to get some articles going. We're going to have some talks about whatever's going on. I hear Ethereum's a thing. I know nothing about it.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, we should get the blockchain folks on the...
right? Let's
like,
talk about
that's happening right now. It's like
what's
crazy
Bitcoin?
sauce.
Like $19,500, but I hear Ethereum processes faster or something. We'll
and
find
there's
out.
Litecoin, and there's the
Litecoin.
other thing, and there's Bitcoin
So
Cash,
many.
and there's like
There's
blockchain.
Dogecoin.
Next up, we
The
got...
Doge to the moon.
Yeah.
I got some for January 6th.
January 6th, what's going on?
Arcade Rodeo at Game Pub, a.k.a. the Shoryuken League. Indie game developers are going to be showcasing some party games over at Shoryuken League.
Is that
aka
a
Game Pub.
Tuesday?
That is a January 6th. I have no idea what that is.
Nah. Okay.
But after that, we got January 9th, Instrument Petting Zoo at WoW Hall.
Oh, yeah, I did one of those at the U of O a couple years ago. It was fucking awesome. They had a theremin. It was so cool. So I don't know what theirs is going to be like, but go for it. You can't. It's cool. No matter what, it's cool.
Slap away.
Let's see. So the first Wednesday of January is the 3rd, and that is usually when we record. So I'm assuming we're going to have Geronimo on. Someone's going to tell him. Someone has to tell him he's coming on.
You want me to text him? I can text him.
Someone should text him. We're going to go for 7 p.m., and I'm going to try to get OBS set up and live stream that. This is Ableton Live, so it's designed for live streaming. I feel like we're going to crush it first try.
So you're going to live stream just the audio, though?
Yeah, we'll get like a little graphic or something. But no, there's not, I don't know. I feel like we'd have to get 3 cameras to get everyone in frame in this tiny little room. Or like I'll sit real close to each other. Maybe we'll live stream video in the future. But we'll stream the audio, or we're going to try to.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for us...
And that's on Twitch?
That'll be on Twitch. We'll post on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. We'll post... If it's going to happen, we'll post what our... Like, I'll make a Twitch account and then post what the URL is. Instagram, at Lars in the Studio. At Dan Koss. That's Koss. You do it twice. Dan Koss. Then, if you want to hire him for something, it's at Koss Arts. I never pimped that one, but I pimped it today. He's got like 30 of the things. If you want him to run your Instagram, he'll do it. Hit him up.
Pay me some
money. Oh
money.
my goodness. Giant plug for Dan Koss.
Hey.
Right?
So, Dan Koss has made some really great looping gifts for the EUGTECH.
Mm-hmm.
We just opened up, like just this year, we just kind of opened up late in the year. We were like, we should do Instagram stuff because we're old and stupid.
Yeah.
And so I ran into Dan Koss at the TAO Tech Tours, got introduced to him, and we were just like, oh yeah, let's do something cool. And he like made these really great, like a handful of really great gifts. And like one of them was for Tech Tuesday. Another one was for something else. And they're super high quality and they're super beautiful and they totally work. I was talking to Anya, who was on the show, and I just asked her, how did you hear about how did you get involved with the EUGTECH scene so quickly? You've only been in town a month. And she was like, I was on Instagram and I saw this really cool video that had like a unicorn and this like it was drawing this E thing, and she was like, I just showed up.
Oh, it's great to know it works.
Yeah.
So hire that guy. He knows what he's doing.
Dan Costa does all the social media for this show, and you can see it. You can tell. Every once in a while, I'll post on my Instagram by myself. He usually ghostwrites it, and you're like, wow, that's a real lame post. I bet Lars did it. Most of the time, Dan does it. He also writes all of the posts at whatupeugene.tumblr.com, which is where you can find all sorts of information about the guests, all the links, where you're on SoundCloud, where you're on Stitcher. It's just a good place to look. We do have peer-reviewed beerreview.tumblr.com, but that's very confusing, so it's probably going away. It's probably just going to be part of the What Up Eugene Tumblr in the future. If you want to comment or communicate with us, really, Instagram is probably the best place. We love DMs. We love questions. We want to answer more questions on air. We want feedback. We're only taking a 1-week break, so it's going to be a similar format, but, as this goes on, we'll keep changing. So if you have suggestions, let us know. We also have an email if you want, if you prefer. That's momentsAgostudios@gmail.com. And the technically the SoundCloud URL is soundcloud.com/momentsAgostudios. That's where the season 0 and the season 1 playlist will be. When they're off the RSS feed, it'll always be on SoundCloud unless they copyright strike us, but they haven't, so I don't think they will.
I'm just gonna say you guys are overly complicated.
We have too many
so
URLs.
Many URLs, so many names, so many whatever. You just need like
we're trying to slow it down. But the cool thing is, if you caught any of those, they all link to each other. So, we're trying to simplify a little bit.
One will get you to all the things.
Yeah, we went a little overboard a little bit, but the big thing you need to know is at Lars in the Studio, because every time an episode goes live, there's a post telling you about it.
Yeah.
If we do a live stream, there will be a post with information about it. And it's where you get all the cool behind the scenes, all the videos with the people clinking the beers and talking. We should do one of those today.
Well, and I've got a special ask for you, my friend.
Go for it.
When this video goes live, or when this podcast goes live,
yeah,
I want you to make a Switchboard post.
I will.
Give a link to all the things, and we'll see if there's a spike in your
absolutely
in your viewership, because the Switchboard's a funny thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, there's like somebody did a post and they were talking about doing ad hoc Wi-Fi mesh network, about the FCC stuff. And there's like 26 comments in there where people are like forming companies.
That's awesome.
And so there's a lot of looky-loos. There's like not a lot of activity, but when something like hits a chord, it like totally just like blows up.
Yeah, I'm definitely planning on checking out the Switchboard and the Slacker myself tonight. So when this, it's probably going to air on Friday. It usually does. When this goes live, we'll post it there, and that's the end of our show. So I've got some outro music.
See you in season 2.
Moments go studios. Go studio moments.